Alright, game changers, welcome back to another video here today. I'm honestly just surprised by the number of skill-based matchmaking defenders out there, especially in Call of Duty. I know there are multiple games, especially right now with Apex Legends. A lot of them are saying they want stricter skill-based matchmaking in the game because of the rampant, cheaters and just the fact that there's no balance when it comes to that, and they just get continuously destroyed. And it kind of has me, double thinking my previous stance on skill-based matchmaking. Now, I'm not for skill-based matchmaking, especially as maybe a slightly above average player, because those matches that I get into are constantly sweat fests for me. For those players who are maybe low to mid-skilled players, I see why skill-based matchmaking is necessary for those players, even though back in the day when I first started playing, I was one of those low-skilled, medium-skilled players, and I wasn't that great. And there were matches where, again, you would do well in, and other matches that you wouldn't do so well in. And for me, I personally thought that it made me a better player because of that. I didn't quit very many of those matches because of that. I instead learned to get better, and I stayed in those matches regardless of which way those matches went, and I just improved. I went into a better mode within myself. I looked at myself and I thought, what can I do to improve? What strategies are the better players utilizing in order for me to also do just as good, if not better? And over time, I took that and I did improve and I got better. I've had to implement things into my gameplay that I've never done before. I've always found frustrating that other players did, but I had to adapt to it myself in order for me to actually compete with those high-skilled players. Again, things that are really annoying, but I had to implement into my own play is bunny hopping, sliding, drop shotting. All of these things that these higher skilled players are beating me with, I had to implement myself in order to compete with them and in order to get back and to put myself on that even playing field in order to even remotely compete with those type of players. And that's especially if you want to run around and rush, which most people actually respect. On the other hand, if you want to play the other way around and not worry about all those things, and you want to camp and you want to play more passive, those things will not be appreciated. A lot of people will not respect you. People will actually get mad at you. But you could utilize that too if you want to get around that and want to try to compete with those type of players who do rush. I mean, at the end of the day, you play Call of Duty how you see fit. There's not a right answer or a right way to play Call of Duty. If you want to camp, you camp. If you want to rush, then rush. It's all up to you because you paid money for the game, so you can play it however you see fit. That's the way I look at it. Going back to the study that Activision did early of 2024, they found that over 90% of Call of Duty players play the game less when skill-based matchmaking is deprioritized, meaning when it's not prioritized in the game. They found that as a result of that, the returning player rate dropped for 90% of players, while the quit rate rose by 80%. And they also said that 10% of the high skill players, meaning the people who are like the top tier players, returned when they deprioritized skill-based matchmaking. They said that this ultimately resulted in a worse experience for all players, as there will be fewer and fewer players available to play with, meaning that the mid to low skilled players out there did not feel like coming back to Call of Duty because they were coming across those type of players who were higher skilled players, and they weren't finding the same skilled players as themselves, and it demotivated them from playing. And mainly what this comes down to is Activision wanting to keep those type of players because they feel like they are the majority, and that's why they continue to prioritize skill-based matchmaking in the game, because they want to keep those players. And again, that has to do a lot with their business, right? So if the majority of the player pool, the people that they cater to play the game, are not wanting to come back and play the game, they lose that business. And again, these are the same type of people who will buy stuff from the store as well. So not only are there less players playing the game, which will prevent them from getting the higher player retention, they will also, buy less of the stuff in their store, which again is the cash cow of Call of Duty. We already know that. We know people are going crazy with cosmetic items, stuff in the store that are crazy overpriced. We've seen that with Black Cell, and that is something that Activision does not want to lose. As many of us who are against skill-based matchmaking want to believe that this is something that would be better for Call of Duty, there are people out there who prefer it to be in the game, and Activision obviously does as well. And you know what? I had to take a step back and listen to the other side. And you know what? They have some legitimate points. And after seeing that, I can respect that. I can respect people who prefer to have skill-based matchmaking in the game. And again, the arguments are sound. They make sense. But me personally, I still prefer it not to be in the game. And it's not for the sole reason of just wanting to smack noobs and have each and every game be a dominant one where I'm pub stopping. That's not the reason why. First and foremost, it's the connection, because we already know that if you prioritize connection, your matches are a lot better and a lot smoother. And again, this doesn't mean that I want easy matches all the time. I want a mixed bag. I want some matches that are easy, some matches that are difficult, and somewhere in between where it's more competitive. Most important thing is the connection, and also that it's not a tournament every single time. I want all matches to be fun and not all matches to be difficult every single time. And especially for those of you guys who are higher skilled players, you already know that every single match is a sweat fest. I understand from a lower tier or mid-skill perspective that you prefer to have skill-based matchmaking in the game because you don't want to face all those high-level sweats. I totally get that. I totally understand that. But again, I think it doesn't prioritize connection that way. Especially when you have to be paired up with somebody who has to have the exact same skill to you or very similar to it. Activision, with the skill-based matchmaking system, will pair you with somebody who's across the world. And again, what suffers as a result of that? The connection, the ping, the latency. That is what suffers, and that's something that I think should not be compromised. And again, I just want to reiterate this fact. It's not because I want to have easy lobbies all the time, because believe it or not, that actually gets pretty boring, where you don't have that competition and people are not fighting back. Like, it's too easy. You're able to get all of your streaks and you just completely dominate the lobby game after game after game. That just gets so boring. So having that time to time is fine, but not every single lobby. That's not what we want. For those of us who don't want skill-based matchmaking in the game, it's not because we want to smack every single lobby. It's not that. It's because of connection. At least for me, I prefer to have a mixed bag. So that way I'm not held to a certain skill all the time. And the connection. We know that when it's based off of ping, the connection, that is going to be a lot smoother in your game versus if they prioritize skill-based matchmaking. Because that's, again, going to match you somebody that might not necessarily be closer to you. That server might not be close to you. And they will connect you with people from further away. So again, just wanted to make that clear, because I know there's some people who say, oh, you don't want skill-based matchmaking in the game because all you want to do is face noobs all the time. You just want to have easy lobbies. And no, that is not the case. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts. I know I had a lot of comments in my last video who were in favor of skill-based matchmaking, and that kind of surprised me. But it's a good thing. I'm willing to listen to the other side, and I'm not going to completely shut you out. And I get it. I get why people do defend skill-based matchmaking. But honestly, from my perspective, you've already heard what I had to say about it. But I also think that if skill-based matchmaking has a place in gaming, it should be in ranked more than unranked. That's just what I think. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload a video. Now with that being said, this is GCP signing off.